Hello everyone, welcome to the Purple Pixie Creations and Crafts. Today we're going to be using this empty icing tub and repurposing it into a nautical toothbrush holder. So there you see me marking off some spots where we're going to cut holes in the lid for the toothbrushes to fit into. I'm taking my razor knife and I'm just cutting slits right on top of those marks that I just made with the Sharpie marker. And now I'm going to go in with my scissors and cut those little spots a little bit wider so that the toothbrushes will fit. This particular toothbrush holder is going to hold 4 toothbrushes. By the way, welcome to the fairy garden. My name is Crystal, otherwise known as the Purple Pixie. This is my first video, so I did have a little trouble with the editing, so please just bear with me. And if you have any constructive criticism, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, now here I'm taking some sisal rope that I rescued from a cat scratcher that I had that pretty much fell apart. So I took all the rope off of it and I saved it for projects. I mean, why not, right? I'm going to glue a little bit at the bottom because to start it out, you really need a good line of hot glue to go straight around the bottom and hold that rope in place. I'm pretty sure you didn't come here to watch me glue rope around a tub of icing all day, so let's test my new editing skills and see if I can speed this up for you. Well, that went pretty smoothly. Here, see me take the dullest pair of scissors in the world and try to cut through that sisal rope. Oh, finally got it. Now to glue the little ends on. And then we'll get started with the twine. Again, to get started with the twine, we're going to do just like we did with the sisal rope. We're going to start with a nice line of hot glue all the way around to hold that first wrap of twine down. And don't forget your finger protectors because that glue is hot. And now I finally get smart and reach for my finger protectors because I realize that this project is going to have a lot of hot glue, and if I don't do it now, I'll end up with no fingertips later. By the way, I got these little blue silicone fingertips on wish.com. A lot of people like to get them from the Dollar Tree, but I got an entire 10-pack from Wish, and I use these things for everything whenever I crochet or I glue. They really come in handy. And as I said, they came in a 10-pack, so I have one to fit every finger from my pinkies to my thumbs. Okay, we're gonna speed this part up too, and maybe I'll even try adding some music. I don't know about you, but I think this song is pretty cute. What about you? Would you rather listen to music, watch somebody craft, or listen to them talk? Personally, I prefer a little music. It makes the time go by a little faster. As long as it's not too repetitive or too upbeat or too dramatic. I mean, music makes your heart sing, right? Whew, now that I'm finally finished wrapping all that twine around the icing tub, I'm going to take some of that leftover sisal rope and I'm going to glue it around the rim of the lid. This will give it some depth and it also makes it match the sisal rope that we put on the bottom of the icing tub. Since the two pieces were the same exact length, I'll have just enough to go around the rim of the lid twice. Now when am I going to learn to quit using these dull scissors? Apparently never, because they're pretty much my go-to scissors. I use them for everything, as you can tell. Ugh, finally. Now I'm going to glue the very tip of the rope down to the rim. Okay, here we go with the jute twine again. By the way, I did get this jute twine at, well, you guessed it, the Dollar Tree. Isn't that where everybody gets their jute twine? And now you're going to see me unsuccessfully try to start coiling this jute twine into a circle with my fingers. But not having it up against a hard surface was giving me a bit of a trouble, so I stopped doing that, decided that was not going to work, and here I'm just going to start by gluing it down in the center of the icing tub lid. Those silicone fingertip protectors, they really came in handy for this part of the project. And yep, I quickly realized that that's what I should have done to begin with. I think right about now would be a good time to speed it up again, because just like wrapping the twine around the icing tub, I don't think you really want to watch me wrap twine around the lid of it. we're finally done wrapping the lid with the skinny little jute twine. And now I'm going to go in with some old manicure scissors and try to trim up the edges, but these manicure scissors have really seen their better days. I mean, I use them on a lot of projects, so they're pretty worn out. I'm surprised the blades even match up anymore. So that's not a go. Let me try these dull scissors again. Yeah, let's trim that and see if we can trim some of the fuzzies down. And well, that seems to be working, but oh, well, now we're gonna try and trim the edges around the bottom of the icing tub. Let's do that over the garbage can. And still trying to come in and trim those edges. But alas, I remember we're going to singe the edges off anyway, so I reach for my trusty lighter. Whoa, did you see that? That's just an example of what could happen if you don't follow safety protocol. Ideally, I would have gone and got my candle lighter, you know, the kind with like the long stick so that you don't burn your hands. Yeah, but I didn't do that. Which means that after lighting a few of these fuzzies, the lighter got pretty hot, and I was grateful that I didn't burn my fingers any worse than I did. Now, it's always a good idea to test your projects to make sure that your vision is coming to life. And here I am trying to stick an ink pen into the holes where the toothbrushes would go. And that's when I realized that, nope, the holes aren't wide enough because we wrapped twine all the way around. And unlike my vision of sticking the toothbrushes through the slats in the twine, that just wasn't gonna work. So I went back in with those dull scissors again and cut the holes a little wider. I'm finally able to get some ink pens in there, but then I realized that, well, the ones with the silicone grips don't exactly want to go. So I'm looking for other ink pens that I can fit in there. Nope, don't have any more. Oh well. Now we know what size our holes need to be. But at this point it's still looking pretty plain, so my vision isn't exactly coming to life. What else can we do to it? I left it alone overnight so I could sleep on it and try to figure what more I could add to it to make it look more nautical. And then I decided I'm gonna paint it. I'm gonna take these paints and paint on the twine. I decided to take this painter's tape and tape it off so that I get some really nice crisp lines. I even tried it on the bottom, but that wasn't working out because the size of rope. So I forewent that part and just decided to go one line at a time. I know I got a little happy with that fast forward feature, but in case you missed it, I am using the folk art brand called Outdoor Opaque in Cobalt. And later on I'll go in with the white from Apple Barrel. Now I've had these paints for years, and in fact I'm actually pretty surprised they're not all dried up. And I don't know if you can still buy them. Not even sure where I bought these. A lot of my craft stash I've had for many years. I just take care of my stuff so it lasts. Oh, here's a little tip for you. When you're stenciling or painting lines with painter's tape, try to remove the tape while the paint is still wet. That'll keep the paint from adhering to the tape and therefore peeling up whenever you peel up the tape. Another reason why these craft materials that I use have lasted me so many years is because I do not waste anything. I'm on a very small budget, so I reuse and repurpose a lot of things. The only reason why I'm squirting the paint out onto this plate is because I don't want to get any of those little stray fuzzies from the rope into my paint. So sometimes, in order to preserve the quality of your materials, you have to forego a little waste. I'll tell you what, I really love to paint, but I am so messy. I'm surprised I didn't put an apron on before I started this project, because I get it all over my hands, my fingers, and I really don't like having dirty hands, so I end up wiping it all over my clothes or whatever napkin or towel I have handy. I mean, what kind of crafter doesn't like to get their hands dirty? Is it just me? And by the way, did you notice the newspaper I have sitting on the side there? That's supposed to be under my project. So now we have the bottom of the toothbrush holder painted. I'm going to go back in around the top edge of the rim and give it a trim in the white. Not really easy to do because you can't really get painter's tape in a circle. At least not perfectly anyway. And now with, I think, a little bit smaller brush, I'm going to come back in with the cobalt blue and do a very thin line around the white trim that I just did. I've had these seashells in my stash for quite a few years too. We kind of pick some up along the beaches whenever we go on vacation and so forth, and of course, living in South Louisiana, we're right on the Gulf Coast. I played around with the placement for a little while and then decided on what I liked. I even found some shells that already had natural little holes worn in them, and that was perfect for what I was going to do. So I glued the shells down just the way I like them on the top, and now I'm going to make a tassel to go around the toothbrush holder. And to make a tassel is really easy. You just take your twine, wrap it around your fingers, and I think I did this one about 14 or 15 times. The thicker you want your tassel, the more you want to wrap it. And then just cut off your ends, grab a spare piece of twine and feed it through the loop of the tassel. Then you just tie it in a knot. Now, my hands weren't exactly working with me today because I do have neuropathy, so sometimes the smallest and easiest tasks are not that small and easy for me. But hey, look at me. I was able to get a good knot in there after all. Now, here is a very useful little tip on how to wrap the tassel and hide the knot. You're going to take a piece of twine. Well, not that piece, because that one was too fuzzy. So, you're going to take a piece of twine, cut off a good bit, because you want to wrap it a few times. Hold it in place with the end of the twine facing up towards the top of the tassel. But make a loop at the bottom with the twine. I don't know if you can see it there or not, but there's a loop that I'm holding with my thumbs. Now you're going to wrap and wrap and wrap. And whenever you've got the desired amount of wraps, you take your embellishment, which in this case is going to be a seashell, one of those that has the natural holes in it. Now feed that onto the twine that I wrapped around the tassel. And again, my hands are giving me trouble. I'm telling you, I kind of had to fight with this seashell just like I fight with one of my kids. But, as usual, just like with one of my kids, I finally got my way and got it on there. I hate when I can't do what I want. Get on there, you little booger. Okay, got it. Now I'm going to wrap it a little bit more. And then when I'm ready to tie it off, in order to hide that knot, I'm going to slip the end of that twine through the loop that we made when we first started to wrap it. Pull that through. And pull both ends, and it'll hide the knot under the wraps. Now just snip off the ends you don't need. And put your scissors through the loop at the bottom of the tassel and just pull and cut. Trim the edges with the dullest scissors in the world again. And now I have a nice little seashell embellished tassel that I can tie around my toothbrush holder. If I can ever get the lid back on. I'm telling you what, I was having a hard day with my hands. Here I'm trying to show you to remind you to line up the back of the lid with the back of the toothbrush holder. And I still don't have that lid on straight. I tie the tassel onto the toothbrush holder, making sure that the knot is in the back. I'm going to add a little dab of hot glue before I double knot it, just so it stays in place. And then whenever I do double knot it, it's already got the glue on there. Fumbling with my fingers again. Finally got it. Snip off the excess twine. And this one is all ready to go. But wait, there's more. I mean, if you can add more, why not add more, right? Got tons of shells left, so I just added a few more to the front of this. And here's how it turned out. I don't know, I kinda like it. It goes well in my nautical themed bathroom. What do you think? I know it's a little simple and primitive looking, but it's also kinda cute. You guys, I really want to thank you for hanging in there with me today. I know it wasn't easy with all the editing glitches and so forth, but trust me, I have no idea what I'm doing. But I'm not gonna let that stop me. Oh no. So why don't you come join me in the fairy garden, otherwise known as my craft room, and become a part of my pixie party by hitting that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that bell, that way you'll know every time I upload a video. Thank you so much for stopping by, and remember that all of me loves all of you.